YouTube, what's up, man? It's your boy Richardson from Minimum Wage to Millionaire. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you've been here, welcome back. You guys read the title, how I budget with cash stuffing and how I just prop up my budget and how I do manage it. It's piggybacking off the last video with giving your money structure with the budget. So let's get straight to it. So the way I budget every month, and I didn't write up this week's budget because I'm making this video a little bit earlier than I expected. So pardon me, I'm not gonna write into my budget this week, but just gonna show you guys how I do the process. So what I will do normally is I will write down my income, right? So how much money you make a month, and I'll usually put it on the top. Let me briefly show you guys. I don't mind being transparent with you guys. I try to be transparent on this channel, so I don't know if you guys can see. It looks like gibberish. Sorry. So I don't know if you guys can see, but at the top, I write in what my income, my expected income to be. Now, I would say even though I write my budget for the entire month, I go off, when I do the cash stuffing, I go off when I get paid. Now, I get paid bi-weekly on a Thursday, so every other Thursday, I would get that money, withdraw it, and then, utilize that cash for whenever I need to. But for the purposes of actually writing your budget, write your budget for the entire month. If you get paid 2 times, what do you usually get for your paychecks? Combine that times 2, because bi-weekly, you're probably going to get 2 paychecks a month. And then you add that. If you get paid check 1, then what's that? How much do you get paid on a monthly basis? If you own a business, I'm assuming you're going to budget on a monthly basis for your business as well. So just predicate that, right? And then write that total income. Next thing is the expenses. Now, when I do expenses, I don't know if you guys can see, but like the way I do my budget for expenses, I actually write the dates that the expenses are due. Now, the reason why I like doing this is that it shows me and it tells me exactly when my bills are due on what day, so I can always keep track of it. Because I look at my budget probably 2 or 3 times a week, so that I can keep track. Okay, I still have this stuff I have to pay. Because sometimes when we get paid, we like to just assume, or we like to just believe, like, oh, we're gonna have enough money to pay everything, but we don't actively keep track of it. So when we don't actively keep track of it, we sometimes spend that money on other stuff, and then when that bill comes due, you're like, oh wow, I'm $50 short because I didn't manage my money properly. And again, your budget is how you manage your money. Your budget is giving your money structure. Think of it as you're the boss of a restaurant, right? And you need to make the restaurant run efficient. Well, you're gonna need chefs, you're gonna need servers, you're gonna need bussers, you're gonna need dishwashers, you're gonna need all these people and then some to make sure everything is running smoothly. And all of them have to have a different job. And you, as the owner, alongside, let's say if you have like other management, like a restaurant manager and all that other stuff, you guys have to decide who does who, when, where, and how it goes, makes the schedule, all that, so everything can be run efficiently. It's the same thing with the budget. You want to make sure that you know when the money's gonna get paid to what bill, so that way when that due date is there, you just send out the money. And I do most of my bills auto pay, so that's great. But again, you always just want to keep track of your date. That way, if you are a little off with the numbers, you could adjust for it, or you could plan for it because you see the dates on your budget. And then you put the dollar amounts as well. Now, what I do with my budget, and I don't know if you guys can see, but at the bottom, I put what's known as financial goals. Now, my financial goals, I could tell you a couple of them, right? But I do the financial goals of what I want to accomplish for the month. So I have a separate journal where I structure what I want to accomplish, life goals and financial goal wise, what I want to do over the course of the entire month. Entire year. And then every end of the budget, I will write down my financial goals of what I want to accomplish for this month. So some of them is, hey, I want to build my emergency fund up to $1,000 for this month, which I'm halfway through it. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that because there were some unexpected expenses that came up, and I'll pin that and I'll show you guys in the follow-up video on that. Another one is that I put that I wanted to take and again, I don't know if I want to reveal this because I love to reveal it in a separate video so then I can really diverge on it. So I'll put a pin on those two things. But I'll put financial goals of what I want to accomplish for the month with my margin. So that way, if I want to do something, or if let's say you want to go to the zoo this month, and it's not part of your normal budget, you can add it as a financial goal. You can look up how much the zoo costs. You can factor that cost in. And then you could be like, okay, well, I'm going to go to the zoo. And then once you know that you have the money and you know when you want to go throughout that month, you could just put in there and make a note of it. And I guess when the time comes, take the money out and be able to do that. So that's pretty much how my budget is. It's very simplistic. I don't have like a budget template. I just literally write down, again, it's hard to see, but I literally just write down my income, my expenses, how much it costs, and you know, pretty much just the total. So my total income will be this, my total expenses will be this. It's going to look different from everyone because everyone's budget is different. Everyone has different income levels, different line items on their budget, but that's pretty much how it is. Now, as I become more efficient in budgeting, because I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect at it, I will probably make like Excel sheets, because I feel like with the Excel sheets it's a little bit more easier. But I know that Microsoft Office, which comes with Excel, is not free, so that's an additional cost. I have to make sure that when I do cross that, because this paper budget works for me perfectly fine for the way things are now, so why change it if it's not broken? So we did that. So once I divvy up my my budget, then I know exactly what I'm going to spend. Again, I do this based on the frequency of when I get paid. I get paid every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks on a Thursday, I would go to my bank, and I have a traditional bank for this because sometimes with like, and again, I keep saying this, but I'm going to make a future video on it because I have so many things I want to talk about. But knowing myself, if I don't stay on topic, I'll divulge and make this video like 2 hours long. I'm not trying to do that. So anyway, I'll withdraw the money every 2 weeks, and I'll take these like little envelopes. You can get these at Office Depot, Walmart. I think I got them on Walmart online and stuff like that. And I'll write in all the categories that I will spend my money in person. So things like electric bill, water bill, those things are typically things you're going to leave in your account and then just have them draw that money from your regular checking account every month. So those are the things that are automatic payment, my phone bill, stuff like that. But things like restaurants, well, those are things that I'm going to spend in person. Things like gas stations, those are things I'm going to spend in person. Things like groceries, those are things I'm probably going to spend in person. So all your in-person categories, you want to be able to spend it on that. So, and what I would just do, sorry guys, my phone is about to die. I don't want it to die on me. So forgive me. Yeah. So I'll write down the category. I'll write down how much I'm going to take out in this category for the month. And then what I do is I go a little step further, is how much money I'm going to take out on a weekly basis. So let's say, for example, you spend $600 a month on groceries and you get paid bi-weekly. So you'll cash stuff on a bi-weekly basis. So you'll put groceries, you'll put $300 bi-weekly, and then $600 a month in total. That way you kind of have that, you know, again, the more information you give, and the more organized you could be, because I know many of you guys are probably a lot more organized than I am, the better it is, right? And again, don't be afraid to tweak things. Don't be afraid to keep your budget somewhat flexible. And don't be afraid to do trial and error, right? Let's say 1 month you do 600 on groceries, and you realize that, well, I don't really spend that much on groceries. Let's say you only spend $450. Then next month, lower that amount, right? Do $450 and vice versa, right? Don't ever feel like you have to be trapped to a specific budget, specific way. I've been cash stuffing budgeting since I think August or July. Yeah, August or July. And my budget is still not refined. Like I still, there's still so many ways I have to tweak my budget. Like for example, I spend about 250 a month on groceries, because again I live with my parents, so my parents do buy groceries as well, but I help out with them. But there's some months where I spend a little more than that, right? So the following month I'll do 300 on groceries or 400 on groceries, and then some months I'm like, okay, I don't spend that much. So you're always going to tweak it to the point where you're like, you consistently feel like I spend this amount in this area, and it just becomes a habit, right? That's what we want to do. We're humans. Whether it's good habits or bad habits, we are a creature of habits. So the better the habit and the more consistent the habit is, the more likely we'll continue to do it, and then it'll just become muscle memory, and you don't have to overly do it in terms of writing the budgets and stuff like that. So, and then again, I just put the cash in here, and because I'm primarily on a cash basis, if I want to spend that money, I only spend what's in the envelope. So again, use an example. $600 a month in groceries, $300 bi-weekly. I put $300 in here. You could do whatever denomination. I usually like to break into 20s, because there's times where I need to go grocery shopping and I only need to spend like, 17, 18 bucks. I don't want to hand them a 50 and break that shit, But whatever works for you. And you take what you need. And one thing I like about it is that on top of planning my grocery trips in advance, like having like a list on my app or write a physical list, it keeps things very easy, because I'll look online, see how much the things would cost, plan out the trips, maybe make a little margin in case that I undershoot or overshoot. Like let's say if I planned out my trip will be $100 for groceries that time, and I look up all the items and it ends up being, let's say, $96, I'll still bring the 100. That way, if I'm wrong by a couple dollars, I still could buy it, right? And once the envelope is gone, that's it. You can't spend any money until your next payday, where you would structure that, right? And withdraw more money. And the benefits of this, the biggest benefit, is that it forces you to think thoroughly on your purchases that you're going to make. Now, in my cash and debit card versus credit card video, I mentioned that there are some people that have credit cards that don't need to do all these things. Well, they still budget, right? But they don't need to do all the cash stuffing and stuff, because they're like, hey, I'm so disciplined in my spending that I could do this, just swipe my credit card normal, I don't have to do all this extra stuff. If it works for you, that's great. Again, shout out to the disciplined credit card users that pay their bills on time and that don't overspend money. I know there's some out there. I'm not going to go full Dave Ramsey and say, oh, everyone has a credit card. No, there's some people that are just more disciplined than the others, and that also goes with finances as well. And if you are that person truly in your heart, then there's, this video probably won't serve anything from you, at least from the cash stuffing perspective. But for the vast majority of people, if you look at the statistics, the average credit card debt that people have, the average American has like a little bit over $7,000. So it's like, if you plan on doing cash stuffing, whether it's a permanent change like it is for me, or maybe it's a seasonal change, you want to just kind of tighten your budget, so you want to transition to cash, this is just what I do in order for me to do this. And it works a lot. I spend significantly less than I did before. Like when I close my credit cards, I still have access to the statements, and I'll see what I spend on restaurants, on DoorDash and stuff. And I used to spend like $500, $600 on DoorDash. This is not including groceries. This is just DoorDash. Because the argument I would use is that, oh, I have a credit card, I get 5% back on restaurants. That's cool beans. But now that I'm transitioning to cash, I don't spend, I still eat out, and I probably should tighten that up. But I only spend maybe $200, maybe $250 max on going out to eat restaurants, because I've transitioned to cash. So in my anecdotal experience, I've saved significantly more changing to cash stuffing. And I think even for people that are disciplined with credit cards, if you want to do cash stuffing for maybe 30 to 60 days, just to see if what you spend on your credit cards truly is what you would normally spend, or if you transition to cash, if you could tighten and refine your budget that way, and then maybe go back to credit cards if you want, I don't see any harm in doing that. So that's it. I don't want to make the video too long. Thank you guys for tuning in. It's your boy Richardson from Minimum Wage to Millionaire. You guys have a nice day. God bless you guys.